Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we make custom foam inserts. So we make a variety of different foam inserts using different kinds of foam. This case here is closed cell foam, and the reason why I have the tape going across is so the inside parts don't fall out. When we ship these out to customers, we ship it with the inside in as much as possible, because that protects the foam getting squished and all that kind of stuff. So it's more of a protection thing, and at their end, if they want to do little collages with art, they can do it with their mechanical parts. Anyways, this foam here is 1/2 inch thick, and we also get it in 1/4 inch thick. Now you might say, why would I want one over the other? Well, 1/4 inch thick makes for a really good base. So let's say you have tools that you don't want to have damaged or products or whatever. It could be anything that goes into this. And you have the 1/4 inch at the bottom, so that means when you drop something in, it doesn't hit the hard plastic or whatever you have as a base. And you can also have multiple layers, of course, because all you do with this foam here is you layer it, layer after layer. And the 1/2 inch is a good thickness for holding most items. Although we go 3, 4, 5, we go basically infinite thickness just by layering the 1/2 inch. Now the reason why I stop at 1/2 inch for this kind of foam, although we can get it thicker, is because it's highly flammable. This stuff here loves to catch on fire, and you can guess we're using a laser to cut it, which is high energy beam, and high energy with gas makes fire. So anything thicker than this becomes too much of a fire hazard. And something like this here, I've had fires before, and you just got to watch for it, and it goes pretty quick. So that's why 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. So why is a laser superior to a router when it comes to doing this type of work? The advantage to the laser is the beam diameter. It's infinitely small, and as a result of that, I can cut very, very precise items very close together and not have an issue. If I was using a router for this, what would happen is the whole thing would get ripped apart into pieces pretty quickly, even if I had a proper hold down. There's just too much stress on the X, Y, and Z for that process to work properly compared to what I have here with the laser. The lasers are also a lot quicker when it comes to this specific type of foam. Something you have to keep in mind is this is industrial foam. So there's no Pantone color matching or any of that kind of stuff. You basically have your basic colors, red, black. This is red, but it comes out a little bit more pinkish than red. I'll just show you the colors here. Here's black. And of course we have blue. And sometimes we're lucky and they have some other colors or offcuts or whatever from other customers. If you want a custom color, it's not a problem, but there has to be a tremendous amount of volume to go with that, a couple of skids worth. Then we can start talking about that. If anything less than that, it's just completely cost ineffective. Now the advantage to the color is, let's say we have a black here. So black is the most popular that we do. So you have black, and then if you have, this is 1/2 inch, then underneath of that, if you have a solid piece of foam that's 1/4 inch, let's just say it's red, right away when you open the drawer, if that's the application you're using for this, right away you see a tool missing, and right away hey, contact the manager, contact the whoever's taking care of things, say, hey, we're missing a tool here, where is it? Right at the end of a shift or something like that. So it really helps for theft prevention in a company where you have very expensive tooling. It also helps to protect the tools, of course, but it's also a way to make sure when you're done your shift, you have tools all over the shop, probably like me here, and you're just done your shift and you're like, okay, I got to go open the drawer. Oh, I forgot this tool. Where is it? Okay, it helps you remember to put everything where it's supposed to be. That's of course why you have the silhouettes cut out. Now the nice thing about the foam is that it's replaceable, which means that if you ever wear this out, we can just cut you another one and we just need this one. That's why a lot of our customers actually have numbers and names and stuff added to the foam. And what they do is in the top corner. So they could call us and say, we need another 3 samples of M43. I don't know what it is. They have the files that they're in, what that is. They send it to me, I make it, and then I ship it back, and it's perfect for their fit. Now as for durability, this foam is actually pretty durable, but it depends on the application again. If you're using a lot of very sharp tooling or heavy tooling, it will wear them out, of course. If you have people just throwing them in and ripping them out, of course it's going to wear out. So like anything else, you take care of it, it'll take care of you. As you can see here, I have the laser basically cutting one insert at a time for the foam. And that's great when all the pieces are different. But let's say I had 100 of these and they're all identical. What would I use? I would actually use the water jet, because the water jet has a fine beam. Although it is wet, this is foam, it's immediately dry. It doesn't absorb any water. It would cut through multiple layers at once, therefore making this whole project more cost effective. But that only works if there's large volumes. If there's small volumes, the laser is still far further ahead than the CNC water jet. Now for this type of foam, something you have to keep in mind is that it does contract a bit when we cut it. So if you're looking for an absolute, within microns fit, it's not going to happen. Basically what the laser is doing, I'll show you some of the edges that I don't have taped. This is not a good example, but something that's high contrast. There we go. We use the red or pink. You can see the edge here. It's pretty clean. And here's the back side. Not the prettiest thing, but you got to remember we're cutting and all that smoke and fumes have to come up somewhere, and they just sort of get onto this. Now the cut quality is great, but you have to remember we're cutting foam, which is basically plastic with tons of air in it, and we're using heat. So it does contract where we cut it. So you have to keep that in mind with your tooling. Generally what we tell our customers is make your tooling exactly the size that you need it to be, and with the contraction stuff you get a perfect fit. There's a few ways to go about getting the design sorted out that you want cut with the laser or water jet, what have you. And the most common one is a customer will take a photograph from above of where they want the tools to be in the drawer, and then trace it in their CAD program and send that off to us, and then we laser cut it and ship the finished insert to them. Another way, if you don't have a camera, is just to trace it with a dark pen, and that works really well as well. And the advantage to that process over a camera is that you don't have any distortions. But again, we're talking about drawer inserts. Even if you're a little bit off here and there, it's really not that big of a deal. So for this application here, we have some drawers that are identical but different colors. That's totally possible. And the reason for that is because we basically cut one of these things at a time every time. So you can have multiple colors. So let's say you have 5 or 6 employees who share drawers, but you want this guy to have red ones, this guy to have blue ones, this one guy to have red, black ones. You could totally do that and mix and match however you want. It does add to cost though, because it is industrial, we have to buy large volumes of it. So if you want to save some money, go with one color for everything and it will work out perfectly. So something you have to keep in mind is that we can mix and match different materials together to make these drawer inserts. What I mean by that, we can have a hard plastic bottom if you want that, and then have a light foam above it, and then on top of that have the laser cut foam or water jet cut foam, however you want it, on top of that. And we can also make inserts inside of the inserts, so you can have multiple little pockets or whatever. So because of our process, literally anything kind of works for us, and as long as it works for you, it works for us. As to the size that we can make these, there's basically infinite size because we just cut them sort of like puzzle pieces and make larger ones. So here's a far larger one here, give you an idea. So whether it's large or small, it doesn't really matter. What you have to keep in mind is that for shipping, it's not it doesn't cost a lot of money to ship. And the reason is because it's just volume, there's not much weight to these. These things weigh basically nothing. They weigh a lot when you have a whole skid of them, but when you cut them out like this here, they weigh a lot less. So if you're looking for custom foam for your tools, for anti-theft or what have you, contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.